The topic of today's video started out as a Continental, was later changed to Lincoln. I'm referring to the Mark VII. This is a car that I've always looked at as the bad boy of the Lincoln lineup. It's the car I think of when I hear the song Hot Rod Lincoln. Now I know the Mark VII wasn't the inspiration for that song, but when you spec this car out, it can look pretty wicked. It was marketed as a performance luxury car. Ford often touted it could compare to the Mercedes or BMWs of the time frame, and yeah, it was a lot less money than those cars. That stated, I've never owned one of these cars. I would imagine they're a little heavier, a little more sluggish than some of the other performance Fords of the past. So is the Mark VII a sheep in wolf's clothing, or is it actually a performance luxury car? Well, let's take a look.
It wasn't quite what these experts expected. It's the new Continental Mark VII. A luxury car that offers the unexpected luxury, performance.
The Continental Mark VII was introduced in August of 1983 for the 1984 model year. The Continental Mark VII shared the Fox platform with the Ford Thunderbird, Mercury Cougar, and Lincoln Continental. It was available in a base trim level in designer editions with either the Bill Blass edition or the Versace edition, or the sport-oriented trim level called the LSC, which stood for Luxury Sports Coupe. The standard engine was a 140 horsepower 5.0-liter V8, or one could opt for the 114 horsepower 2.4-liter turbocharged diesel inline six-cylinder. This was obtained from BMW to offer a more fuel-efficient engine offering. All Mark VIIs came with a 4-speed automatic transmission. The Mark VII was equipped with a long list of standard equipment. A fully digital dashboard featured an onboard trip computer and message center, automatic climate control, 4-wheel air suspension, 4-wheel disc brakes, power seats, an AM/FM stereo, power windows, locks, and mirrors, a power deck lid release. All models were installed with Ford's keyless entry system, an automatic dimming high beam module. The Mark VII was the first American vehicle since 1939 with composite headlights. The Bill Blass edition came painted in goldenrod glamour, accented by harvest wheat metallic paint, and featured Bill Blass lettering on the quarter windows and deck lid, as well as distinctive wire wheels. The Versace edition came in a navy blue metallic paint, admiral blue interior, and its own wire spoke wheel covers. These featured Versace lettering on the quarter windows and deck lid. The Mark VII LSC was described as a union of world-class performance, advanced technology, driver-oriented interior, and luxury. The suspension was tuned to be stiffer, a quick ratio steering rack was added, and the engine was tuned picking up an additional 5 horsepower. The LSC recorded a 0-60 time of 9.7 seconds and was able to reach the quarter mile in 16.8 seconds at 77 miles per hour, this according to MotorWeek. 33,344 Continental Mark VIIs were sold in the 1984 model year. 1985 was mostly a carryover year for the Continental Mark VII. However, the 8-track tape player option is discontinued, and an in-car telephone is added to the option list for only $29.95. The LSC sees another bump in power to 180 horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque. This was delivered through the 5.0-liter HO-V8, taken right out of the automatic transmission-equipped 1985 Mustang GT. 18,335 Continental Mark VIIs were sold for the 1985 model year.
A Mercedes owner with an eye for exceptional cars has just seen one. The Continental Mark VII. He wants to get a better look at it. For now, he must be content with the knowledge that this new Mark gives Mercedes something it hasn't had before: competition. The Continental Mark VII.
1987 was once again a carryover year for most of the Mark VII lineup. However, the LSC once again saw a bump in power, adding the 225 horsepower 5.0-liter HO engine to its luxury sports coupe. This engine produced 300 foot-pounds of torque, and the car is equipped with 7-inch wide wheels and 225/60R16 Goodyear Eagle GT plus 4 tires. The suspension, again, was recalibrated. Car and Driver magazine reported a 0 to 60 time in 8 seconds flat, and this car covered the quarter mile in 16.1 seconds at 88 miles per hour. 15,286 Mark VIIs were sold in the 1987 model year. 1988 brought a consolidation of the Mark VII model lineup. The base trim model was discontinued, and the only available engine was the 225 horsepower, 300 foot-pounds of torque producing 5.0-liter high-output V8. Models consisted of either the Bill Blass edition or the performance-oriented LSC. Both models were priced exactly the same. 38,259 Lincoln Mark VIIs were sold for the 1988 model year.
To fully appreciate the superb handling and performance of Lincoln Mark VII LSC, the makers of Mark VII urge you to do these 3 things. Drive it. Drive it. Drive it. Lincoln. What a luxury car should be.
1990 saw the Mark VII gain a driver's side airbag, and 3-point seatbelts were added to the outboard rear seats. The dashboard and interior controls were given a redesign. LSC models saw the addition of a 120 mph speedometer and received a new style of BBS 16-inch wheels. The LSC SE, or Special Edition, was introduced, available only in midnight black, garnet red, or dark titanium. It featured special exterior accents, and all the chrome save the grille shell and badging was now monochromatic. 22,313 Mark VIIs were delivered for the 1990 model year. 1991 sees the Mark VII line consolidated mechanically. The Bill Blass edition adopts the suspension and wheels of the LSC. Both cars are given redesigned seats. Lincoln delivers only 8,880 Mark VIIs in 1991. 1992 was a complete carryover year for the Mark VII. It saw no changes from 1991, save a new paint color, deep jewel green metallic clear coat, and that is the only change of note. Sales declined further, and Lincoln delivers only 5,732 Mark VIIs in 1992. A little over 190,000 of these cars were produced over its 9-year run. The most obvious competition to this car was Cadillac's Eldorado, although I think after 1986, when the Eldorado was downsized, there really was no comparison. Not that the Eldorado is a bad car, just when they downsized it, it lost a lot of its identity. The Mark VII was replaced by the Lincoln Mark VIII. That's not a car I'm really a fan of. And hear me out here, it's not that it's a bad car. It's just that Ford took that aero look and took it to an extreme. It's almost as if you ordered sweet tea and then dumped a cup of sugar in it. It's just a bit too much. The first 3 years of production of the Mark VII, they really weren't anything special. Although I would argue the 87 through 92s offer a lot of performance for not a lot of money. These cars in the collector market are way undervalued. You basically have a Mustang GT driveline wrapped in a bigger, more luxurious vehicle. If you like this video, please click the like button. That way other people see it. That's how YouTube works. Also consider subscribing to the channel. There's plenty of other content like this on the channel. Like this video over here, it's on the 83 through 88 Ford Thunderbird. It's kind of related to the Mark VII in a lot of ways. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll see you.